welcome all the 6th standard students to my English class. Now we continue our reading passage, reading the story. All of you take your text and turn to page number 15. Today we have the news spreads. The news spreads. What news spreads? Raja's missing. Last episode we discussed that one day after a heavy rain, Raja shook the sandalwood tree and made a big shower. Then Raja and Grandpa soaked completely and Grandpa became angry and Raja ran away from there to the paddy field and he hid there. It was getting dark and Raja became feared and he came to the cowshed and took shelter in the loft. Then Grandma searched him everywhere in the house but she could not see him. Then she told Grandpa, "Where is our Raja?" Then we can start the news spreads. I am going to read it. All of you listen carefully. Then Grandfather stood up and went outside and called aloud, "Come, Raja, come. I won't beat you." But I did not answer him, for I thought he would beat me. Then Grandfather stood up and went outside and called aloud. Aloud means ഉച്ചത്തിൽ. ഗ്രാൻഡ്മ എന്താ ഗ്രാൻഡ്ഫായോട് പറഞ്ഞത്? ഗ്രാൻഡ്ഫാദറിനോട് എന്താ പറഞ്ഞത്? രാജയെ കാണുന്നില്ല. അപ്പോൾ ഗ്രാൻഡ്ഫാദർ പറഞ്ഞത് എന്താ? അവൻ അവിടെ എവിടെയെങ്കിലും ഒളിച്ചിരിക്കുകയാണ്. പക്ഷേ ഗ്രാൻഡ് മദർ അവിടെ എല്ലാം നോക്കിയിട്ടും കുട്ടിയെ കാണുന്നില്ല. അവസാനം ഗ്രാൻഡ് ഫാദർ അവിടെ നിന്ന് എണീറ്റു. Then grandfather stood up and went outside and called aloud, "Come, Raja, come. I won't beat you." ഞാൻ നിന്നെ അടിക്കത്തില്ല, നീ വാ. But I did not answer him, for I thought he would beat me. Grandmother was angry and said, "He won't come. You drove him away. I heard you say that you would beat him if he came home. Poor child, he is afraid of you and has run away." Grandmother was angry and said, "He won't come because you drove him." Drove. The past tense of the word drive. Drive. Drive away means ആട്ടി അകറ്റുക. You drove him away. I heard you say that you would beat him if he came home. Poor child, he is afraid of you and has run away. Then question number 10. Grandmother felt angry with the grandfather. Do you support the grandmother? Why? Do you support the grandma? Yes. Why? Grandpa should not have been so angry with him. Grandpa should not have been so angry with him because he had made a very simple mistake. Grandfather called the servants and asked them to go out and look for me. They went out but after a while returned to say that they could not find me. Grandmother started weeping. Grandfather started walking up and down the courtyard. Grandfather called the servants. Grandfather then called all the servants and asked them to search or look for Raja. They went out but after a while returned to say they could not find me. But they returned and they said they could not find him. Grandmother started weeping. Weeping means crying. Weeping. Crying. Grandmother started weeping. Grandfather started walking up and down the courtyard. Courtyard means മുറ്റം. മുറ്റത്ത് അങ്ങോട്ടും ഇങ്ങോട്ടും നടക്കാൻ തുടങ്ങി. The news that I was missing spread. Our neighbors came first, then our relatives and then others who had heard the bad news, meaning to offer their sympathies to grandmother. Then people gathered there. A lot of people, their relatives, their neighbors and others who had heard the news. അപ്പോൾ അവരുടെ റിലേറ്റീവ്സും നൈബേഴ്സും പിന്നെ ഈ വാർത്ത കേട്ടവരെല്ലാം അവിടെ തടിച്ചുകൂടി. All the people gathered there. Many came to offer their sympathies to grandmother. Sympathy എന്താ? അനുഭൂതി, സഹാനുഭൂതി അല്ലെങ്കിൽ സഹതാപം. സിമ്പതി, സഹതാപം. സിമ്പതി, സഹതാപം. അപ്പോൾ ഈ വന്നവരെല്ലാം അവരുടെ സഹതാപം പ്രകടിപ്പിച്ചുകൊണ്ടേയിരുന്നു. Then question number 11. Why did grandfather lose his temper? You can find out the answer from the next paragraph. Grandmother did not like this. Grandfather did not like this. He shouted, "Nothing has happened to the boy. He is hiding somewhere. Won't some of you go out and find him instead of wasting your time here?" Then grandpa became very angry because the friends and the neighbors and their relatives expressed their sympathy to grandma instead of searching him. അപ്പം കുട്ടിയെ ഒന്ന് തിരഞ്ഞ് കണ്ടുപിടിക്കാൻ ശ്രമിക്കാതെ അവർ ഇവിടെ നിന്ന് എന്താ അവരുടെ സഹതാപം പ്രകടിപ്പിച്ചുകൊണ്ടേയിരിക്കുകയാണ്. ഇത് കണ്ടിട്ട് ഗ്രാൻഡ്പായ്ക്ക് ദേഷ്യം വന്നു. Question number 11. Why did grandfather lose his temper? Relatives and neighbors expressed their sympathy instead of trying to find out the baby or find out Raja. Relatives and neighbors expressed their sympathy instead of searching Raja. Then next page. Some of them went out to search for me. More and more people came and soon there was a big crowd. By now, grandmother had lost all hope of seeing me again. She started telling the people what a good boy I was. The search parties returned without finding me. Grandmother started weeping loudly. The women in the crowd also wept. The servants of the house joined in the wailing. They all acted as if I were dead. More and more people came and soon there was a big crowd. അങ്ങനെ ആൾക്കാർ കൂടുതൽ വന്നുകൊണ്ടേയിരുന്നു. അങ്ങനെ അവിടെ ഒരു വലിയ ക്രൗഡ് ഉണ്ടായി. By now grandmother had lost all hope of seeing me again. ഞാൻ ഇനി ഒരിക്കലും തിരിച്ചു വരത്തില്ല എന്ന് ഗ്രാൻഡ്മദർ വിചാരിച്ചു. അതായത് എന്നെ കാണാനുള്ള സകല പ്രതീക്ഷയും അസ്തമിച്ചു. She started telling the people what a good boy I was. ഞാൻ നല്ലൊരു കുട്ടിയായിരുന്നു എന്നൊക്കെ ഗ്രാൻഡ്മ മറ്റുള്ളവരോട് എൻ്റെ നല്ല കാര്യങ്ങളെക്കുറിച്ച് പറയാൻ തുടങ്ങി. The search parties returned without finding me. തിരക്കിപ്പോയ സർവൻസ് എല്ലാം തിരിച്ചു വന്നു ഇവനെ കാണാതെ. Grandmother started weeping loudly. Weeping means crying. Grandmother cried loudly. The women in the crowd also wept. അവിടെ വന്നെത്തിയ സ്ത്രീകളും ആ കരച്ചിലിൻ്റെ കൂട്ടത്തിൽ ചേർന്നു. The servants of the house joined in the wailing. Wailing means weeping. Wailing, a new word. Wailing. Wailing means weeping. The women in the crowd also wept. The servants of the house joined in the wailing. They all acted as if I were dead. ഇവനെ ഇനി ഒരിക്കലും കാണത്തില്ല എന്നുള്ള ഒരു പ്രതീക്ഷ പോലെ കാണത്തില്ല, അവനെ കാണാൻ പറ്റുന്നൊരു പ്രതീക്ഷ അവർക്കുണ്ടായില്ല. The servants of the house joined in the wailing. They all acted as if I were dead. As it means like. They all acted as if I were dead. ഞാൻ മരിച്ചതുപോലെ അവരെല്ലാം പെരുമാറി. I felt very sorry for grandmother. I wanted to come out. ഗ്രാൻഡ്മയുടെ കാര്യം ആലോചിക്കുമ്പോൾ എനിക്ക് വല്ലാത്ത വിഷമം തോന്നി. എനിക്ക് എങ്ങനെയെങ്കിലും പുറത്തേക്ക് വന്നാൽ മതി. പക്ഷെ അവനെ കൊണ്ട് വരാൻ സാധിക്കുമോ? ഇല്ല. വൈ? എന്തുകൊണ്ടാണ് വരാൻ പറ്റാത്തത്? Because he feared that grandpa will beat him. Grandfather was a man of strong will, but I knew that he too felt very sad. He did not, however, lose hope. He stood up, turned in the direction of our family temple and prayed. "Help me go," he said. "Give me my child. I want him now. I cannot wait any longer." He then stood silent in prayer. Grandfather was a man of strong will. Will means mind. Grandfather was a man of strong mind. നല്ല വെച്ചാൽ ഒട്ടും ദുർബലനല്ല, നല്ല ശക്തമായ മനസ്സുള്ള ഒരാളാണ്. വളരെ strong, having strong determination. But I knew that he too felt very sad. അങ്ങനെയുള്ള ഗ്രാൻഡ്പാ പോലും വളരെ ദുഃഖിതനായി. He did not, however, lose hope. പക്ഷേ പ്രതീക്ഷ കൈവിട്ടില്ല. He stood up and turned in the direction of our family temple and prayed. എന്താ പ്രേ ചെയ്തത്? "Help me God," he said. "Give me my child. I want him now. I cannot wait any longer." എൻ്റെ കുട്ടി എങ്ങനെങ്കിലും തരണം ദൈവമേ, എനിക്കിനി ഒട്ടും കാത്തിരിക്കാൻ വയ്യ. He then stood silent in prayer. Then we can discuss the questions. Question number 12. Where might the people have searched for Raja? Why couldn't they find him? Because the people have searched him in the garden, in the grove, paddy fields, then ponds, neighboring houses, and everywhere. Why couldn't they find him? Because Raja was taking shelter in the loft. He was in the cowshed and he took shelter in the loft. Then, next question. I wanted to come out. What prevented Raja from coming out? He feared that Grandpa would beat him. He wished to come out, but he did not come out because he feared that Grandpa would beat him. Grandpa would beat him. Then the next page. At that moment, Uncle returned. He learned what was happening at home. He looked around and guessed where I was. He came to the cowshed and asked me to come down. I came down. Uncle took me into the house. Grandfather had just finished his prayer and turned. As he opened his eyes, he saw me standing before him. He took me up in his arms in joy, hugged me, and said, God heard my prayers and has given you back to us. At that moment, who returned? Uncle. Uncle returned. He learned what was happening at home. Uncle മനസ്സിലായി എന്തോ വീട്ടിൽ സംഭവിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. He looked around and guessed where I was. അങ്കിളിന് കാര്യമൊക്കെ മനസ്സിലായി. Guessed means ഊഹിച്ചു. He came to the cowshed and asked me to come down. Straightly he came to the cowshed and asked me to come down. നേരെ അദ്ദേഹം കൗഷഡിലേക്ക് വന്ന് എന്നോട് പറഞ്ഞു ഇറങ്ങി വരാൻ. I came down. എന്ന് ഇറങ്ങി ചെന്നു. Uncle took me into the house. Grandfather had just finished his prayer and turned. Grandpa ദൈവങ്ങളെല്ലാം വിളിച്ച് പ്രാർത്ഥിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് നിൽക്കുകയായിരുന്നു. പെട്ടെന്ന് പ്രാർത്ഥന കഴിഞ്ഞ് തിരിഞ്ഞപ്പോഴെന്താ കണ്ടത്? As he opened his eyes, he saw me standing before him. He saw me standing before him. പ്രാർത്ഥനയൊക്കെ കഴിഞ്ഞ് കണ്ണു തുറന്നപ്പോഴേക്കും ഞാൻ മുന്നിൽ നിൽക്കുന്നു. He took me up in his arms in joy. സന്തോഷത്തോടെ എന്നെ പൊക്കിയെടുത്തു. Hugged me. Hugged means embraced. Hugged. Hugged means embraced. As he opened his eyes, he saw me standing before him. He took me up in his arms in joy, hugged me and said, God heard my prayers and has given you back to us. ദൈവന്റെ പ്രാർത്ഥന കേട്ടു, അവന് ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് തിരിച്ചു തന്നു. ഇത്രയാണ് ഗ്രാൻഡ്പ പറഞ്ഞത്. നോക്കിയേ, ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ നമ്പർ 14. What would Raja say to his grandfather when he returned home? എന്ത് പറഞ്ഞു കാണും? അതിനകത്ത് എന്താ പറഞ്ഞെന്നൊന്നും പറയുന്നില്ല. എന്ത് പറഞ്ഞു കാണും? He would say, I am really sorry, Grandpa. He would say, I am really sorry, Grandpa. You have to read this text, this story 3 or 4 times very carefully. Then you can do the activities. Then now you turn page number 18. Let's revisit the story. First, pick out sentences from the story which show grandmother's love for Raja. The first day we studied about it. That is page number 11, 4th paragraph. She took good care of me. She would follow me like a shadow, saying, drink this milk or eat your food or have your bath or go to bed. These words show that grandma's love for Raja. Second, Raja loves both grandmother and grandfather, but they are somehow different. Compare the characters of grandmother and grandfather. These two characters behaved entirely differently. വളരെ വ്യത്യസ്തമായ രണ്ട് ക്യാരക്ടേഴ്സാണ് ഗ്രാൻഡ്മയും ഗ്രാൻഡ്പായും. Grandma is very simple and very loving. Then his grandpa was very strict. He had a great love, but he did not show it. Grandpa had a great love to Raja, but he did not express this or show it. But grandma was kind and gentle. She took great care of Raja. Grandma was kind and gentle. She took great care of Raja. These are the difference between these two characters, grandfather and grandmother. Grandfather was very strict. He had a great love, but he did not show it. Grandpa was very strict. He had a great love, but he did not show it. On the other side, grandma was very kind and gentle. She took great care of Raja. Then third one, Raja hid in the cowshed for a long time. Was it right to do so? Write your views in a few sentences. ഇപ്പോൾ രാജ ഒരുപാട് സമയം എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ വീട്ടിലുള്ള ആൾക്കാരെ എല്ലാം പരിഭ്രാന്തരാക്കിക്കൊണ്ട് അവൻ ഒരുപാട് സമയം കൗശലിൽ സ്പെൻഡ് ചെയ്തു. ഇത് നല്ല കാര്യമാണോ? ശരിയായിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യമാണോ? നോ, ഹി ഷുഡ് നോട്ട് ഹാവ് ഹിഡൻ ദി കൗശൽ ഫോർ എ ലോങ് ടൈം. നോ, ഹി ഷുഡ് നോട്ട് ഹാവ് സ്പെൻഡ് എ ലോട്ട് ഓഫ് ടൈം ഇൻ ദി കൗശൽ. ഒരുപാട് സമയം കൗശലിൽ സ്പെൻഡ് ചെയ്യേണ്ടിയിരുന്നില്ല. Then write your views in a few sentences. Raja was afraid of the anger of grandpa. This prevented him from coming out, but his missing created great confusion and worries there. Raja was afraid of the grandpa's anger, so he did not come back. അവന് ആ ഗ്രാൻഡ്പായുടെ ദേഷ്യം അവന് ഭയങ്കരമായിട്ട് അവനെ ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടിച്ചു. ഭയങ്കരമായിട്ട് ദേഷ്യപ്പെട്ട് അവനെ അടിക്കുമെന്ന് അവൻ പേടിച്ചു. Raja was afraid of the anger of grandpa. This prevented him from coming out. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് അവൻ പുറത്തേക്ക് വരാതിരുന്നത്. But his missing created a lot of problems, a lot of confusion and worries there. A lot of confusions and worries in the family. Then, did you like the story? Which part of the story did you like the most? Write a note on why you like the story. Do you like the story? Yes. Which part? Mainly, most of the people or students like the last part. We expected that grandpa would be angry when Raja came out. നമ്മൾ സാറിന് വിചാരിച്ചെന്താ, രാജ വെളിയിലേക്ക് വന്നു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഗ്രാൻഡ്പാ ഭയങ്കരമായിട്ട് ദേഷ്യപ്പെട്ട് ഇവിടെ പോയിരുന്നടാന്നൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞ് അവനെ ഭീഷണിപ്പെടുത്തുമെന്നാണ് നമ്മൾ പ്രതീക്ഷിച്ചത്. പക്ഷെ അങ്ങനെ സംഭവിച്ചോ? ഇല്ല. രാജ ഓൾസോ എക്സ്പെക്റ്റഡ് ദ സെയിം. But when he came before grandpa, he took him in his arms in joy and hugged him. We expected that grandpa would be angry when Raja came out. Raja also expected the same, but when he came before grandpa, he took him into his arms in joy and hugged him. Then last question. In the story, Raja made a shower by shaking the sandalwood tree. It was great fun for him. You must have had such funny experiences in your life. Recollect and present such experience before your friends in the class. അപ്പോൾ രാജ ഇവിടെ ഒരു ഫണ്ണി എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ചെയ്തു. എന്താണ്? ഹി shook the sandalwood tree and made a big shower and grandpa and Raja completely soaked. അപ്പോൾ ഇതുപോലുള്ള എന്തെങ്കിലും ഫണ്ണി ആയിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങൾ നിങ്ങൾ ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടോ? If you have done, you have to share with your friends. If you had done such an experience, you have to share with your friends. Okay, we can stop here.